Welcome to another episode of Fandom Empire Live. I am your host, Johnny V, and it is truly a pleasure to be with you wherever you are joining us from. And joining me tonight, as always, are my usual colleagues, cohorts, friends, and colleagues. Sean, how you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing. The sky has not yet fallen here in Canada, but
Don't tempt it.
certainly is in other places. Um, I'm just happy to be on. It's a short episode. It's a little bit of a break from Westeros. We're going to return to some Westeros content next week when Zach comes back. But there's actually a whole lot of horror to unpack that involves Star Wars to some extent. And then Randy filled us in on a little bit of new Halloween news right prior to the show. That, I mean, I don't have too much to add to it, but I know my oldest son will be thrilled with it. So I'm doing as good as I can.
Randy, how about you? How you doing this fine Monday evening?
Well, it's Monday. It's been a Monday. Works, seems to be like every week for me at this point. But it's what happens when you're short staffed. But beyond that, Virginia weather is being bipolar as always, getting low 40s, high 30s, and then all the way up until the weekend where it hits 80. So, um, yeah, it's typical Virginia weather, but at least we'll have some fun tonight, have some really cool things to talk about. So I'm pretty excited about it.
The Ides of March weather, where we go from parkas to shorts in the span of 72 hours. Dustin, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Just getting over a little bit of a short illness here, so feeling better. Glad to be on tonight. It'll be fun to talk some horror.
Yes, indeed. As Sean said, it's a very horror heavy episode tonight. And we are going to kick things off. Big weekend for Scream at the box office, anyway, where they set a franchise record on their opening release weekend. To this point, only one of us has actually seen the film. So, Sean, we're going to kick it over to you. What did you think about Scream 7?
So work with me here. This is going to be a long way to get to well, not a long way, about a minute and 30 seconds to get to my point of view on it. I think Dustin needs to mute. But I'll say this. I get that this guy's not very liked by some people because he's very bold with what he says. But it's very hard to argue with the reputation and the credibility that John Campea has built over the last 12, 13, 14 years. I showed this clip to some people, and I debated whether I wanted to play it on our stream or not. And I thought to myself, it's almost too good for all the wrong reasons to not, in fact, play on our stream. But I will preface this by saying, love what you love, dislike what you dislike, hate what you hate, whatever. I will always stand by that. But sometimes you just got to call a spade a spade.
It's time for airing of the grievances. And again, let me give you guys some warning. I'm going to go into spoilery detail on this. You know why? Because none of you should go see this thing. None of you. I would rather jack off with sandpaper. No. I would rather
Wow.
watch Madam Web again. What? No. I would rather do a marathon of Madam Web, Morbius, and Kraven the Hunter than ever watch this piece of garbage again. Okay, first, and listen, it's all about everything that you can do wrong, they do in a movie. My wife, dude, was turning to me like 50 times through the movie, like, that would not happen. How does that happen? How does it make any sense at that? And I'm like, and like half of the movie, I just have my head like this, like, oh my God, this is one of, in the worst movies I've ever watched, what I never say is I could have, what all other film fans, like film fans all the time say, I could have made a better movie than that. No, you couldn't have, and neither could I. Until I saw Scream 7, I could have made a better movie than this. And that is saying.
So, that's John Campia's thoughts, fellow Canadian, by the way, residing in the United States of America. Got to throw that in there. That's John Campia's thoughts on Scream 7. And I thought to myself, it can't be that bad. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's worse. Like, holy fuck. I have no doubt that the new scary movie that's about to come out will be a better made film than Scream 7 by a landslide. Now, the warning signs were there, and some people refused to see them, and that's fine. When you withhold advanced screenings from critics until the day before the movie comes out, what does that enable people to do? Purchase all their tickets for opening weekend without having the influence of critics. This thing is bad. Like, really fucking bad. Like, and I see there's people defending it, and that's fine. I mean, people defended Halloween Ends. Concussions are a real thing, and, you should get it checked out. Look, how bad is this thing? This is how bad this thing is. Who here has seen 1883, the Yellowstone spinoff with Tim McGraw? Please tell me one of you have.
I know it. I haven't watched it all the way through.
Okay, so Elizabeth May, who plays the lead in the limited series, and she's also the one that does the voiceover in the Harrison Ford-led one, is incredible. Like, damn near Emmy-worthy. In this film, you would think that she cannot act. It is brutal it almost feels like this is a prank. I'm half expecting one of the Jackass guys to jump out and say it was a Jackass bit. And you know what? I'm realizing what a golden opportunity I missed just by John Campia's one comment about how much his wife and him were going back and forth. I missed a golden opportunity to bring Johnny to see this movie. Because I know how Johnny is when he sees movies and there's stuff on screen he doesn't like. If you want that man to be quiet, I got bad news for you. And I thought to myself, shit, this would have been the movie to get the Elm Street remake off the hook. I could have rid myself of that experience.
Damn.
Oh, I did not expect it to go in that direction.
And instead, I have to kick my own ass and realize what a missed opportunity that would have been. An even more missed opportunity would have been to go into the theater mic'd up with Johnny. That's some gold content missed. Lesson learned. And look, somewhere one of our that's two of our old co-hosts, and I'll go ahead and name them. Dean Renner being one, who Randy did some shows with while I was recovering in the hospital. He's off doing his own thing now. That's fine. Is not a Scream fan. And I hope that somewhere Dean is fist pumping at how bad the reception to this movie is. I also hope Dean did not spend his own hard-earned money on it. But it is what it is. And then Kieran, who pops in from time to time on the channel, is famously the guy who, after we did a watch party for Scream 4, popped his Blu-ray out and snapped it on air. I don't think Kieran's going to be buying Scream 6. Look, Nev Campbell is Nev Campbell, but ultimately she doesn't have a whole lot to do in this movie. She just doesn't. And I'm going to spoil something for you guys because we've already talked about it on the channel, and we said it was a high probability. So this part's getting spoiled. If you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, now's your time to tune out. In fact, this is what it'll do for you. I will remove the title from the bottom left. That means we're talking spoilers. And when it reappears, you're safe. All right. Remember how we're like, how the fuck are they getting all these people back? Like, they just kept signing cast member after cast member after cast member. Thank God. Thank God Timothy Olyphant didn't lend himself to this shit. It was exactly what we reported it would be. AI over a cell phone. They're not actually back. They're not. I won't spoil anything further than that, other than it's not this big cast reunion. It's they were throwing a couple bucks to record something on a phone that was put into the movie. Very disingenuous considering not the trailers, but some of the other marketing that was done. I think people were expecting more. But yeah, so that's that. I thought John Campea was going overboard. I really did. And then I realized, holy fuck, this makes The Rise of Skywalker Oscar worthy. I truly believe that. It's that bad. And it's really unfortunate because I thought Scream 5 was okay. Sorry, if you can't tell, I'm doing this from a car and a pickup truck, just in case, some Scream shit happens here, has pulled behind me, not in a parking spot, just think you're in a parking lot, and is, if I wanted to leave right now, I couldn't unless I drove through the front door of Tim Hortons, which is probably ill-advised, and they're just sitting there. I don't know what the hell they're doing. And they're honking at someone. Okay. All right. Back to the show. At least there hasn't been a Burger King hooker yet.
Give it time. Night's still young.
It'd be the Timmy Hose hooker.
Might be a little cold for that, though.
Scream 5 was okay. I thought it was a better film than Scream 4. And Scream 6, the first two acts of the film, in my opinion, are amongst the best in the entire franchise. The third act kind of goes and gets stupid again. But if you thought the other Scream movies had some bad motivation as to why the killers are doing what they're doing, this one says, hold my beer. This one says, hold my 24-pack. Because, wow, it's bad. So that's all I have to say on Scream. I think I've gone long enough. Gentlemen, thoughts on the John Campea review, and then thoughts on my own, and if it dissuades you from maybe spending your own hard-earned money from seeing this thing in theaters, which I strongly suggest you don't.
Hi, with the Silent Circus, I'll go first. See, the Scream series itself isn't like high on my list in general, so I wasn't like as excited or hyped as some people to go see it. Obviously, I will see it at some point. I don't know when. Maybe when it hits streaming, I'll take a look, because at least that way I'm not really going out and seeing it that way. But beyond that, I'm not surprised. It's hard to always come up with some new motivation or something that would drive any slasher, and unless you're someone like, unless you're the embodiment of evil, like Jason or Michael Myers, at least that they're just going to kill because you're there. They don't need a motivation. Movies like Scream, yes, you have to have the killer has to have some sort of motivation. You're talking about something that's really just right out there and kind of dumb, which doesn't surprise me, because how many more family members can be potentially involved here? or even someone who's just a stalker that might be a stalker, and one needs to expunge their fascination there on with somebody. I didn't have high hopes for this movie, and it sounds like the only good thing that came out of it was actually a really pretty badass Ice Nine Kills song at this point. Other than that, I don't know. Like I said, I'll see it at some point. I just don't know when. The review, you guys' reviews are. I'm a little shocked that like you're talking about that. The Rise of Skywalker is Oscar worthy compared to this. That's bad. That's real bad. But sometimes some movies are okay when they're just that bad. But it doesn't sound like it's that bad. It's so good. It just sounds like it's just flat out bad, and it's fine. It is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it too much, unless unless for some odd reason I lose some sort of bet with you or Johnny, and you pretty much force me to watch the movie. Then different story. But I really got no stakes in this, and that's about all I can really say on it. How about you, Dustin? What are you thinking about this?
Yeah, I've had a love-hate relationship with Scream, since it first came out. I've watched the movies as they've come out. I watched, obviously, 1, 2, I thought was okay. I think I saw 3 in theaters, and then I was kind of out at that point. And then I think 4 and 5 came out, and 6 was coming out. And I had heard some rumblings about 5 being pretty decent. So I said, okay, let me jump back in. I'll watch 4. And it was okay. And then 5, I actually enjoyed 5. And it was pretty decent. And then 6 came out, and I agree with Sean. I liked like 85% of the movie. I liked. It was just the last bit where I felt like, and many of the Scream movies have suffered from that same, trope of, okay, we have to reveal who the killers are. But how many times can you take that same trope and make it interesting and tell a story that genuinely surprises you and is engaging and is entertaining? I think 5 and 6 were doing that, trying to do its own thing. But going into this movie, from the early stages of some of the marketing, talking about Matthew Lillard being back, I was excited. I was like, okay, are they going to do something here where it's like, let's go back to the original. Let's give Nev Campbell, Sydney, one more like kind of ride off into the sunset. Let that be it for this character, because I kind of feel bad for the lady. You can't let her die. It's just like Jamie Lee Curtis being Laurie Strode. It's like, Jesus Christ, can we just move past this tired shtick? Let this lady live her life. Like, why does she have to constantly show up and do all this? And it becomes kind of just ridiculous at a certain point where it's like the FBI, there would be, I don't know, it just is, they would be watching her. There would be all kinds of investigations on this lady. Why does it keep happening to her? My brother went and saw this movie. He kind of spoiled it for me because I told him I do not care. And what he was telling me literally had me dumbfounded. And I was asking about certain characters going, okay, was this what? Oh, no, it was like Sean had stated. And I'm not going to repeat it because it's not the spoiler section. But I was literally like, they could have taken this and said, let's go back and tell one more story with Sydney, with Gail, and with this legacy killer, and tell a fun story in this and let it end, and then let it be its own thing. Let it go off or end, for God's sakes. Things can end. It's okay. We don't need Saw 20, Saw 24. So I'm not surprised. I'm a little disappointed because I was excited. Again, as Sean stated, I think they did a disservice and kind of a switcheroo with the marketing, as did Halloween Ends in certain points where their marketing was straight up just bullshit. And that's what I don't appreciate. If you're going to, I guess they wanted to try to keep some of it under wraps, but to go about how they did it and what they did with it, like completely, to just not deliver on some of that stuff, it's pretty disappointing. I'm not going to watch it. My money is better spent elsewhere. yeah, if it comes on streaming, I'll watch it just for the laughs and just see how bad it is, just to hate watch it. And I usually try not to do that, but for something like this, I'll just watch it and see how bad it really is. But yeah, I'm not really. And now I'm kind of hoping this is the end of it. Let it go away for at least a long while. But I doubt it will, because if it made a bunch of money in the beginning, they're going to just, milk it for all it's worth. And Sydney will be back in Scream 20. So, yeah, kind of disappointing. Not surprised.
I've been skeptical on the Scream 7 train all the way through. But I don't want to say I'm surprised. I'm surprised at how bad the reaction is from some people. I mean, when Sean posted the John Campea clip in the chat, I was like, okay, but it's not so crazy. And then Sean say during the course of his tirade that it was a worse film than Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which is saying something. It's a sad statement. I mean, I was never going to buy a ticket to see the movie because I just, movies are too fucking expensive to go to a theater and get the experience. And it needs to be something you can't live without to go see it. But I have some free movie credits left over from some months earlier that and I didn't get to a theater to go see anything. And I'm maybe using one of them on this, and I have changed my mind on that plan. I'm not even going to use a free movie credit to go see this movie. So I'll just have to find other movies in the next. I think I have 3 months before they expire. But like it's sad, that this is how it ended up, because I do like Scream. I enjoy the franchise. It has more hits than misses for me as a fan, and I don't want to say I had hopes for this, but I kind of did. It had Kevin Williamson coming back. That's that was a big deal, for me. And if this is how it ended up, it does not bode well for the future. And I also am definitely more excited to see the new Scary Movie than this, because I saw the trailer for that today, and that got me excited. I fucking love that thing. It was actually quoted to me by my brother, just randomly, tonight. So I'm excited for that. That one I might go see, but I'll have lost my free movie credits by then, so I have to pay to go see it. But anyway, we get this train off the track. It just, it's sad. It's unfortunate. Like Randy said, I'll watch it when it hits streaming, because I'm already paying for the streaming subscription. So like, it's not like I'd be paying anything extra to go see it or to watch it. And if I'm watching it and I decide, oh, this is shit, it wouldn't be the first time I've turned a movie off on a streaming service and been like, I'm just not even gonna finish this. And a horror movie too. I did that with the Hollow Man remake that Blumhouse did, and I think was it 2020. I think they did one with Elizabeth Moss.
I have no idea.
Oh, you're about Invisible Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was actually was it Hollow Man?
I thought that one was the Invisible Man because they were trying to restart the MonsterVerse essentially. And
that was Universal. I think this was a remake of Hollow Man, the Kevin Bacon movie from
which
90s.
Was excellent.
That I loved. I loved that movie. Parents bought that one at Costco randomly back when it came out, and I watched the shit out of that movie. I loved it. But it might have been Invisible. Either way, it was the same trope, invisible person. I turned that one off after like half an hour. I'm like, this is garbage. I'm not watching any more of this.
If you sat me down and said, no, Sean, seriously, how bad is this movie? I would genuinely tell you I would rather watch that Sweet Vanilla or whatever the fuck it was, Jason thing that came out last year 5 times over again before sitting through 2 hours of this fucking thing. 2 hours. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my God. It's bad. The answer is it's very bad. But to follow that up, how does this match with Mando and Grogu? Well, this thing made just shy of $100 million worldwide this weekend. Now, make no mistake, you are going to see a massive drop off next weekend in the box office. But when your opening weekend's $100 million, your production budget was 45, let's say your marketing budget was around 30, 35, movie theaters get a 50% cut of that. It probably only needs to make $140 million or so to break even. And it's going to break even and also make a little bit of money on top of it. And I have a feeling they're going to pay attention to that more than the critical response or even, frankly, most of the fan response. And they're going to go, let's do this again. And, you know, I got to say, I take that personally. Like, I would take, this movie was so bad, I would take another Jamie Lee Curtis-led Halloween movie with all the behind-the-scenes meddling over watching this thing again.
Why would you put that out in the universe, man? Seriously.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
By the way, Johnny, it was the Invisible Man.
Yeah, I looked it up.
And it was originally a part of the Dark Universe until Universal dropped it.
Yeah, either way, shit film.
The part that you didn't see in John Campia's review was he put it in his top 3 worst films he's ever seen. Like, Johnny, I shit you not. There is I'm not saying for sure, a very strong possibility I would watch Zombies again over that movie.
Okay, let's not go too far.
Oh, it might not be far enough.
I don't know if things can be that bad, but
I have a feeling
their own,
had you been there, and I know how you are when you see stuff on screen that you don't like or it doesn't make sense, you let the other person know, that we may have gotten kicked out of the theater because of how much you would have been talking. Yeah. So, how does it relate to Mando and Grogu? Well, I've been all on the marketing has been so fucking terrible for that movie, and I do believe they've taken a bunch of shortcuts with that movie, and I hope I'm wrong, and at the very least, I just hope my children enjoy that movie, and I'll leave and be like, okay, my kids liked it, I'm good. And I'm very skeptical even about that. But if this movie can make $100 million fucking opening weekend, I'm no longer predicting that Mando and Grogu is going to fall on its face opening weekend. This thing, the fucking diarrhea that comes out of my fucking ass made $100 million worldwide. I'm no longer saying that that's impossible for Mando and Grogu. Now, mind you, they need to make a lot more than $140 million to break even. They need to make about $340 million to break even. But, wow. I truly cannot believe that's the follow-up to Scream 6. That's something else. All right, Johnny, next topic.
Well, that is certainly something. All right. It comes up in chat pretty much every week when we do the show. And it's Halloween. We got a couple of Halloween things to talk about tonight. We're gonna start with the game.
Why don't you lead off with what Randy showed us? You didn't see it?
I thought it was a song. I saw the Ace 9 Kills. I thought it was the Scream song. I didn't actually read that it was a news article. Okay. Let me power read. Okay. PAX East this month. Maleka Kad and John Carpenter are set to reveal the first playable demo of the game. Spencer Charnas, the frontman for the band Ice Nine Kills, will be featured in the game. To what extent is yet unknown, but it could be anything from being a victim playable character all the way up to a soundtrack, an original song. It's been confirmed Nick Castle will do the mocap alongside TJ Storm.
As I say, kinda. He did. It's kind of like Nick Castle's back for Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
Sorta. I know they're pumping those tires up, but I'm here to tell you, he didn't do a whole lot.
That seems to be the extent of the new things in this. Is there more than that, or is this just the extent?
So they also revealed a clip over the weekend. I think Randy was the first one to show us that one too. It showed a little bit of the online footage, and it looked good. Michael looked good. There's an execution that we don't see. They cut away before we see it, where Michael picks someone up, and it looks like he's going to impale them through like one of those old school metal rods that sticks out of a telephone pole, or a hydro pole, whatever. So I will say this, speaking with one of our sources who's been really close to the situation, we were talking about this before. This would have been prior to WrestleMania 42 this year? Yes. So prior to 41, when we were talking about this, he says, so think Friday the 13th, like this is just the online portion. Think Friday the 13th, the game, but on steroids in terms of what you can do in the map and interact with and go. And even though it's only essentially 4v1, you got to remember there's a bunch of NPCs on the online game that are all over the place. And he did say he thinks that the part Halloween fans, not your general fan, but like big time Halloween fans are going to be the most interested in is all the stuff that you get to do during the story mode as Michael that is not shown in Halloween 78. And he reiterated that the ending, at least as it stands right now, is not the ending of Halloween 1978. It's something that goes further than that and opens the door to new possibilities that are not Halloween 2. Thoughts?
Interesting.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of fun to me, and just in general, just because, I mean, we all are excited about the story mode, and just because the fact that you get to play Michael Myers and you get to escape, so that's cool in its own right. But I think it's also smart to create a way to add DLC and more story content through the actual life cycle of the game. The fact that they're saying Friday the 13th on steroids. I mean, if you're a good Jason, you can do a lot in a short amount of time. So if you get a good Michael who's even just more ridiculous than someone as Jason, that's pretty impressive. But obviously we need something, obviously this month we're going to get to see something, and hopefully it's enough to really whet the appetite of everybody to just go out there and pre-order, because for all the Halloween fans out there, this has potential to be such a huge win. And that's something you guys need, because with whether no real news on a movie, stuff we don't know about the TV show, like there's just so much here that an excellent game that can just tide you over with a good story and then a great multiplayer mode, potentially, as long as the support's there and they listen to the fans and really just give it their all. This has a potential to be something that's just going to be finally take, I would say, just horror icons to another level versus what we've seen like with Dead by Daylight and what they did with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited to see what we get out of PAX.
For the record, I do not know if they will live stream the panel, but my guess is as long as cameras aren't banned, someone is going to record some level of footage that you're going to be able to watch online. Now, how good that quality is, can't really comment on that.
My guess is you'll sort of see the like the lead up to whatever new trailer they put out, maybe a little something from from the people on the panel leading into it, but like as far as official release of the panel, I'd say it's very unlikely. You don't usually get that stuff, not anymore anyway, and not at PAX. Usually you get, like, if this had been like E3 back in the day, sure, yeah, you would have been able to get it somewhere, but I don't think I've ever seen a PAX live stream including panels. I think you'll probably see like an IGN like floor show, where you might see where you'll see like maybe the game booth and part of the demo, which of course you'll get anyway. But I don't think the panel will be out there, not in full anyway. But like Sean said, unless they have a very strict no recording policy, which varies panel to panel, of course. You'll probably see some things come out of the actual panel, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see new footage and actual gameplay. Like that's the big thing. We haven't seen actual real gameplay yet. We've just got the trailers, and we haven't seen very
I'd argue
much.
what we saw over the weekend looked like real gameplay to me. I
Yeah,
thought
but
there was
I'm
a
like,
tick down in what we've, how they've had like the cinematic thing they showed.
yeah,
This was very clearly not the same level
and it
of
could very
quality.
well
I'm
be.
not saying it. I'm not saying it looked bad, by the way. I'm just saying it looked like actual gameplay to me.
It could very well be. I'm just like more, actual official people with hands-on first-person experience in like, multi sources, right? We'll see lots of this that weekend. That is, of course, March 28th is the actual panel. PAX, of course, all weekend. So we'll probably see stuff, on Friday and maybe even Thursday. I don't know the actual PAX schedule.
Well, and if we're lucky, the social media will probably post snippets here and there, and
Yeah.
so that's where you get pretty much going to have to keep your eye out for, because I doubt they'll have a live stream, because I don't remember anything ever really coming out of PAX, whether it's East or West, that they were like, hey, we're going to do this. And it's usually just stuff you see on social media that either people have been given the okay to release, or people being sneaky with their phones when they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, I think there's an IGN floor show usually at PAX, but other than that,
Before Dustin chimes in here, I also want to give some love to the Slash and Cast guys who we were covering some of their reports on prior to Christmas on the game. They had said like early fall, basically, that they expected something involving the game at PAX next year. And they were right. So they deserve the kudos for that one.
I fully expect the first part of the panel to be Malik Akkad handing John Carpenter one of those oversized big checks and saying, "Thank you for being here," and putting down your Xbox controller to be here, Mr. Carpenter. And he's going to say, "How big is the check?" And it's going to be a big check. No, I am excited. I think that, again, like some of the press releases and stuff, I've seen even Nick Castle in the mocap suit. Of course, they're going to highlight that stuff, right? They want to get those fans in and say, "Oh yeah, Nick Castle did everything for this," or "Nick Castle did a bunch of stuff for it." Just like in Halloween 2018, he did one scene, right? The scene where Laurie's looking up at Michael the first time, and they connect eyes and they see each other. I'm like, that's cool, but to say that Nick Castle's in the movie is kind of a stretch. That's kind of like Tony Moran saying that he's the only Michael Myers. So you can go with that. But I am excited for this game. I think all of us are, just to have kind of that setting, to see kind of this alteration or this kind of side B of the story from 1978, and seeing potential lead ups to something that's not just Halloween 2, that it could lead into something else, is kind of interesting. That they could say, okay, let's, that's with Halloween, is that there's different timelines. So maybe this, having the flavor of the first movie, goes into a whole different type of game, right? If they want to do a sequel. I mean, God forbid, they probably could even say, okay, they won't do this, of course, but it would be awesome if the reception to the game is great and what they're setting up for the second part doesn't become a game. Could it become either further DLC or potentially a movie, right? I would rather see something like that than them explore any continuation, other than if they went back and explored something from 4 with a new movie, or go into one of the other timelines of Thorn Troll, and continue on a story from there. But no, I mean, I think I'm excited to see the gameplay. I'm hoping that there's enough content in it to keep people engaged for long term, versus okay, I played it for a few hours, now I'm kind of done. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited and I look forward to seeing more.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely get to see more. Just
Can you guys hear me?
yes.
Okay, because this is how messed up the software is. I'm gonna take a picture so you guys know I'm not full of shit. It's saying that I have lost connection and I'm no longer connected
Oh
to the
well,
room.
that's voodoo.
You are here.
Yeah.
You're definitely here,
Okay.
man.
Good to know. All right.
Before we move on to the next, I just want
Yep.
to clarify a few points. John Carpenter is not actually going to be in attendance at PAX. He will be attending the panel virtually. I dug up another article from
Virtually. Yeah.
from last week that is a bit
Total
more detailed
shocker.
panel. So he will be virtually attending the panel, and also that day at PAX, that afternoon after the panel, they are attempting to set a Guinness World Record largest gathering of people dressed as Michael Myers. They will attempt to set an official Guinness record that same day at PAX. So if you're listening to this or watching this and you're going to PAX, get a mask, get a jumpsuit, get a fake knife,
Just don't get one of those Don Post ones.
and
Go as
show
Mike
up.
Myers, not Michael Myers.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd count for the record unless you're Mike Myers dressed as Mike Myers. Because it's
We
just
got the
mask.
assignment wrong.
Somebody's going to do that, though. Yeah, just wanted to clarify those two things. PAX is March 26th through the 29th, so anytime in those few days, we'll see stuff. So let's move forward to the last topic of the night. Again, it's something that we talk about frequently, and it's something that's frequently a question in the comments. What about the TV series? Have you any news on the TV series? Well, we do. Sean?
Yeah, so Sean Clark, big time YouTuber, and also someone who's fairly close with a lot of people behind the scenes of Halloween, had come out rather recently and said he'd heard at least the last place the Halloween TV series stood was with no Michael Myers involved. I believe we, in fact, ran this title not long ago. This one right here. Halloween Rumors, a Recipe for Disaster. So it's taken a little bit of time, but I've spoken with both of our sources that are fairly connected. Keeping in mind, it's really hard to be connected on something that hasn't even really begun official pre-production and has just been in a writing, pitch, and meeting stage. It's really hard to get information. It becomes a he said, she said, rather than feet on the ground actually seeing things. But I will say this. On one side of the fence, we had someone tell us, so what Sean Clark is saying is true, sort of, from a certain point of view. And added in, it's not that Michael isn't in the show, but rather he is at the end of the show of that particular pitch, and it builds up to him. And then the very last thing you see is Michael, which theoretically could lead into a movie or just a season 2 of a TV show, right? And then the other one is the same one that we covered all throughout last year. Maximum state penitentiary, rather. Michael being there, not in the suit, heavily involved other people in Haddonfield. You do see Michael in the show, but doesn't don the suit until the end. I would still say those are two very different pitches, and what I take from that is they're considering both. These seem like they're possibly the final pitches. Obviously, all the crazy crap that was happening at Miramax has thrown a wrench into things because it's just the way it works in TV land and movie land. And it's not to, cast doubt on Sean Clark. I know a lot of people love him, and I do think he's connected. He's probably better connected than we are a lot of the time. But when I got both of these people who have really, deserve all the credit for our accuracy on Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, Halloween the Game, saying that no, he's involved in both. And given what the official press release was about the show from Miramax and from Trancas, I would suggest that the idea of Michael not being involved in the show at all is, I don't want to call it bullshit because then it sounds like I'm calling someone out, and I'm not. I'm going to say was a misunderstanding. Now, is there enough Michael in the show for you? That is a completely other question. But it sounds like, at least narratively speaking, there is a reason for him to be around in both. Final thoughts of the night, fellas.
Randy, Dustin, you guys want to go first?
Sure. I guess the real question really is, what is enough Michael Myers for you in a series? Because if the story's done right for this build up, for this huge reveal at the end of a season that could lead into either another season or a movie, then okay, you got me invested. But if it's just kind of slapdash thrown together and then all of a sudden here's Michael, and I just didn't really care about the rest of the season, I kind of take that as a loss. Like, if you're not going to have a presence in the sense of knowing it's Michael, knowing that he's there pretty much every episode or every other episode, or depending on how long they want to have the season, then you need to make a compelling argument, story, however you want to word it, to get me invested in these characters to the point of where I'm not looking for Michael every episode or every other episode. I'm invested in how these characters develop and how Michael's going to impact them when he finally does reveal himself. And that's really kind of where it's at for me, since we don't really have anything beyond just speculation and just rumors. So it really just boils down to story and how much they're going to put into it. If it's done well enough, then I don't need a ton of Michael. But if they're just going to kind of throw something together, then you might need a little more Michael in it to kind of keep people's attention. So you can be like, oh, I wonder how this person's going to die, or I wonder what he's going to do here. And really, that's kind of all I got right now, because until we get more information, we can speculate all we want, but it still isn't even greenlit yet. So that's the other problem. So we just need something. 2 years to the 50th. They got to do something. They got to do something for the fans. I don't care if it's a TV show or a movie at this point. We need something. And it can't be just the video game, because the video game's not going to tide people over, because not everybody plays games like that. We need, as fans, we need something. And all this silence and secrecy and really not getting any type of real information out, that it puts the 50th in doubt almost at times. And you don't want them to slap something together in 6 months and call it a movie and be like, there you go. There's good luck, hopefully you like it. So let's hope we get something soon and we can actually be able to speculate in a more controlled way versus just being all over the place where it seems we are at the moment, because there's just nothing out there.
I still have more faith in there being a movie than the show.
Yeah, I'm along the lines of like they've given almost, they seem to be going back and forth. They don't seem to know what they're going to do. Until there's more solid information about it, I'm not getting my hopes either too up or too low. I don't have a whole lot of faith that that they can pull something together. Like Randy said, if it's something where it's cobbled together and then it's like, oh, Michael's here. Well, what timeline does it fit in? Because does it happen before he shows up in, the original Halloween? Does it happen after Halloween 1? And we don't know, there's so many unknowns that it's hard to kind of even have an idea about how to feel about it. But I don't like the fact of not having Michael Myers in it. I think that would be a huge mistake. I'm even on the fence of even him showing up at the end is potentially a big mistake. I mean, you see what they're doing with Crystal Lake and the effort they're putting behind that, the budget they seem to be putting behind that, and the writing talents that they're doing. They're doing something with it that seems it's gonna be unique. We've seen it. Welcome to Derry have some success. So, and I can't imagine they're not going to have Jason in the. I know Crystal Lake. I think he's going to be a young kid in it, right? I'm not sure to what extent. There's time jumps, whatever, but it was featured in it. Welcome to Derry, even if it was introduced slowly. So it's hard to, again, be positive or negative towards it right now, but I've always been in the camp of, if you make a TV series and it fails and that's what you're leading up to a movie, then you're going to damage the potential for that movie. If your show ends up not being what it needs to be, fans are going to say, well, now a movie's going to be tied to that. Great. And people will go see it because they're fans. But they really need to, either if they can't come up with an idea, it's okay to just walk away and say, you know what, the ideas aren't there. Let's not put out something half-assed. Let's figure out what we really want to do, whether that's a movie or whatever it may be, but don't half-ass it, because that'll just, we've seen enough of that.
Sorry, scrolling Facebook, something ridiculous, but I don't, like you guys have all kind of said, we are so far out on this that a lot of the stuff we hear now, might be changed drastically by the time we actually do get to see this. And, plots and plans today may not be what we get. I mean, all we have to do is look at the history of Halloween. There was enough failed projects for multiple books, and ideas that, have fueled multiple books worth of content that never came to be fruition, that got to at least this stage. So, obviously there's nothing set in stone. So any rumors or thoughts or plans or things we hear now could just as easily tomorrow be, yeah, we're just not going down that road. So like until we get to a point where, we have something greenlit, something actually officially fully in production with official announcements and, writers and specifically showrunners, if it's TV routes, or, directors and writers, if it's the film, until we get to those stages, it's way too early in the process to, start critiquing content. We can obviously discuss and critique the ideas we hear and the rumors and things like that. And we're going to, we've done that to this point, and we're going to continue doing that because that's, it's what we enjoy. It's what we like. It's what we talk about. And when these things come up, we're going to talk about them. But, until we get further into the process, I'm not beholden to any idea or any thoughts. Like, do I have the things I would prefer? Sure. And like I've said, could you do a Halloween series that doesn't include Michael Myers in a prominent role? Yes. but there are specific, caveats for me anyway that you sort of need to go down. Like if it's not going to include Michael in a prominent fashion, I think it has to be a Loomis story because, like I've said, there's 3 characters that when you say Halloween, the average fan is going to immediately think of. Obviously Michael Myers, then Laurie Strode, then Sam Loomis. Those are the 3 characters that you're going to think of. And if you're not going to have Michael Myers, I don't think there's a universe where you have a Laurie Strode. The only other character left is Sam Loomis, and he makes the most sense for a TV series. Let's be honest. From a narrative standpoint, he makes the most sense because, well, he can talk. Like as far as being the central character and being the most prominent character, it needs to be someone who can carry the narrative. Michael's not going to do that. He's the boogeyman. He's the shape, and he moves the narrative in other ways. But if you're not going to include him, then you have, I personally think you have to have Dr. Loomis. Otherwise, what are we here for? Like, could you still do a story that's intriguing and interesting and this, that, and the other without Michael Myers and without a Dr. Loomis, without Laurie Strode? Sure, you could. It's a much tougher road. I think it's a much harder sell, both for the diehards and the average fan. Could they do it? Yes, absolutely they could. Should they do it? That's an entirely different question, and one that Miramax is going to have to answer over the coming, years leading up to the anniversary. So, as we said, obviously this is something we're going to continue talking about, as we get closer to the anniversary, as we get further into progress, and one of these projects is eventually going to get greenlit. And is it one we've already talked about, or is it something we haven't even heard of yet? Who knows? But we'll find out. Well, that is going to do it for tonight. Before we go off the air, I'd be remiss in not saying that, we hope for the best and a speedy recovery for Bruce Campbell, who tonight announced he has cancer. In the course of this show, that came out across the wire that I saw. So all the best thoughts, prayers, all that stuff to him in his forthcoming battles. It's all right. That's going to do it for this show. Obviously, I just didn't want to end it without getting that in there and saying that. So, guys, where can we find you, Randy? Start with you.
So over on X, you can find me at Giggity Giles. I have taken a small break from the sports brew just because football season's been all wrapped up, and with March Madness around the corner, I'm not huge into basketball, but you never know, you might find me over there. But if you don't let that stop you, if you enjoy people just talking shit, drinking, getting drunk, and having a lot of fun, just go over to Google and put in Sports and Brew. You should be able to find the home feed on Podbean, no problem.
And Dustin?
Yeah, you find me here every Monday, if not the Monday after that, here and there. So it was nice being on here with you guys and talking some horror, and I look forward to talking next week.
Sean?
I just want to say thank you to our patrons who continue to support. I know we haven't done a lot over there. We took a break during the holidays and haven't come back yet. Randy, Johnny, and I will put our heads together and think of what to do next over on there, and we'll start to get some stuff out. I'm going to finish with something, but Johnny, before I do, is there anywhere people can find you? I'm assuming at a movie theater watching
no.
Scream 7.
Oh, you can't find me.
Okay.
No, you won't be able to find me there. Well, I shouldn't say never. If I find out one of my movie tickets, my free movie tickets is going to expire like the next 2 weeks, maybe you will. Just because I don't think there's anything else in the theater I want to see, even a little. But yes, you can find me. This week is WWE 2K26 this weekend. So I'll be over on Twitch streaming that. I don't know if I'm doing Friday or just on the weekend, but either Friday, Saturday, or just Saturday, over on twitch.tv/Bros Before Pros. I will be live playing the new WWE 2K game this week.
All right. And to close out the show, we will throw it over to fellow Canadian, one more time, John Campia.
It's time for airing of the grievances. And again, let me give you guys some warning. I'm going to go into spoilery detail on this. You know why? Because none of you should go see this thing. None of you. I would rather jack off with sandpaper. No. I would rather watch Madam Web again. What? No. I would rather do a marathon of Madam Web, Morbius, and Kraven the Hunter than ever watch this piece of garbage again. Okay, first, and listen, it's all about everything that you can do wrong, they do in a movie. My wife, dude, was turning to me like 50 times through the movie. She's like, that would not happen. How does that happen? How does it make any sense at that? And I'm like, and like half of the movie, I just had my head like this, like, oh my God, this is one of, you know, in the worst movies I've ever watched, what I never say is I could have, what all other film fans, like film fans all the time say, I could have made a better movie than that. No, you couldn't have, and neither could I. Until I saw Scream 7, I could have made a better movie than this. And that